Hollywood Brown left for free agent. Ritter, excuse me. Hollywood Brown leaves for free agency. So that leaves second-year pro Michael Wilson, newly acquired Chris Moore, and now Greg Dortch signs, and he is the number one on the depth chart. Howard Balzer joins us now to discuss this.
Are you excited, Howard?
Yeah, I mean, it's just get you up in the morning.
I'm not going to go so far to say that Greg Dortch is number one on the depth chart because he is what he is, a good player, a good slot guy, and that's essentially what he is. The signing is just making it official because he had nowhere else to go when the Cardinals, tendered him as an exclusive rights free agent, so he couldn't negotiate with other teams. It is pretty wild, though, in one respect, that it took the Cardinals half a season to realize the pluses that Greg Dortch could provide in the offense. I mean, we all saw it the year before. All the guy did when he went on the field was make plays. And then he was hardly used. I'm sure they kept trying to, do something with Rondale Moore and get him involved and do this and do that, but it just didn't happen. And then Greg Dortch starts making plays. And now, like you said, he's there with Michael Wilson. There's obviously going to be receivers that come in the draft. And that's what's going to make 3 weeks from today, when it all begins, so intriguing to see exactly what the Cardinals wind up with after the draft is over.
So you look, then you Rock alluded to Chris Moore as well too. Hopefully the guy can stay healthy from that standpoint. What is, we've watched him for several years. What is the upside for this guy? He's a 4th round pick. He's coming in. He's solid. He's not a home run hitter like he used to be many years ago. But what's going to be the upside with Chris Moore in the fold, so to speak?
I just think he's a depth piece. I mean, he's one of only 2 position players on the roster, by the way, that's 30 years old or more.
Wow!
And then you have him and Kelvin Beachum, and then of course you have Matt Prater and Aaron Brewer from the kicking game. But Moore is what he is. He's not going to suddenly become a go-to guy, but he does provide depth. He does provide a little bit of speed here and there, and so he'll be competition in training camp. But I certainly don't think that his arrival says, oh, well, boy, we don't need receivers in the draft. I mean, I think we would all be shocked and stunned if there aren't at least 1 and maybe 2 receivers come in the first few rounds of the draft, and hopefully there's one in that first that everybody is kind of wondering how this whole first round is going to materialize and unfold with the 3 top guys that could very well go in the top 10 of the draft.
And don't you feel, Howard, with the emergence of Trey McBride last year, if they don't, and they will improve with the receiving core and they get Marvin Harrison Jr., I think that'll be key, amongst others, but to take some of that double coverage away from McBride, because he was the go-to guy for Kyler Murray those last 6 or 7 games.
No, he definitely was. He definitely was. And obviously they're hoping Hollywood Brown would be that, and then he injures his foot, and he tried to grind through it, but of course really couldn't get it done. But yeah, McBride is a huge plus going into what you hope that this offense, will become. And this is I can't emphasize more, guys, how strong this draft is in wide receivers. Mm-hmm. There's some of the people out there saying there could be 12 receivers picked in the first 50 players of the draft. Well, whether it's 50 or 55 or 60, certainly there very, very easily could be all that many go in the first 2 rounds. And so what do the Cardinals end up with? Do they get one of those top 3 guys, which I'm sure everybody's hoping for? Do they get a couple guys maybe from that next tier of receivers? Because, just because you don't get the best, I think it's important to get one of the best. And I persistently point out, I don't know if I've done it here, in the 2020 draft, only 4 years ago, when Justin Jefferson was the 5th receiver taken in the draft. In front of him was Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, C.D. Lamb, of course it turned out to be a great one, and then Jalen Reagor. And then after Jefferson, at the end of the first round was Brandon Ayuk, and then the early part of the second round was T. Higgins and Michael Pittman Jr. So those are obviously some very productive receivers, and Higgins and Pittman are both franchised currently by their teams. And so you can get 1 or 2 of guys at that level and add to your team, then you're going to be a better football team.
All right, let me follow up then with what you just stated. And the number 4 selection right now, everybody has penciled in Marvin Harrison Jr. If they get an offer to trade down, an offer saying that they just can't refuse, do you see them doing that? And if they do that, then do they try to acquire a couple of those other wide receivers who you just stated it is a terrific deep draft as far as wideouts?
No doubt. I think that's certainly possible. And there are some out there, and I've been told that it's not outlandish. It's not just people talking. That there's teams that consider either Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze to be on a par with, and maybe even have a higher upside than Marvin Harrison Jr. So you can't go wrong with one of those three. So if they would trade down, the risk is if you trade down too far, you probably won't get one of those top three. The question then becomes, do you try to trade back up to get one of those three, as they traded back up last year after going down and ended up with Paris Johnson Jr. If they don't wind up with one of those three,
2 minutes,
and they have traded down, then they're going to have extra picks to do things with. There's going to be at least one more first-round pick and maybe two. So that could be at the end of the first round, you get a real good receiver, and who knows in the second what they end up doing. So there's a lot of possibilities that come out of this. I think a lot of people are bending themselves sideways trying to figure out what's going to happen, but nobody knows.
No.
I mean, everybody's just guessing. All these mock drafts that create all these crazy trades. I mean, that's just clickbait to get to, let me read this story. Let's see what this person says about a trade. I mean, it's just an exercise in futility. Just have to wait for it to unfold. But I truly believe, guys, by the end of the night, on that first night of the draft, 3 weeks from today, by the way, at the end of that first round, I strongly believe the Cardinals will have at least certainly one wide receiver that will have been added to the roster.
Did Marvin Harrison work out with the Cardinals today or tomorrow? I know they were talking about it was going to happen this week.
I think I don't know what the exact day
1 minute,
but I think it's more of a visit. I don't believe he's going to work out. Most of these visits that players make do not include tryouts and workouts. Some of them do include a physical, if that is necessary. But mostly it's just a visit, take him around the building and just interact with him, see how he interacts with people and all those things. So I know that I'm pretty sure Odunze or Neighbors has been in there already, and so it's just kind of what all these teams do. But he's not working out, and the one thing you wonder about that is he doesn't think he can improve himself, that he can only hurt himself with that. If he would have worked out at the combine or worked out at his pro day, if he hadn't run a 40 that was as fast as Neighbors or Odunze, I mean, who knows? That might end up hurting him in some of the evaluations. And so that's why he hasn't done it. Obviously, the guy can play and be productive, and he's going to be a good pro. But I think those other two guys are going to be also. And so I don't think you can go wrong with either of those three.
So he basically comes in, gets to see all these great amenities that the Cardinals have, right? Where if he has kids, where the babysitter is, where that room that is, where you have to buy food. You get to see all that, right?
Oh, absolutely. They can see the renovations that are supposedly going on in the locker room. But yeah, I mean, Michael Bidwell, they say they're going to be improving on all those things. Time will tell. They've already done some things, but I don't know that they take them too many places there when these players come in, and they're all bright-eyed and and all that. And it's more of a getting to know you type of thing that goes a little bit beyond, obviously, of the 20-minute interviews they had at the combine.
Howard, thank you as always, buddy. Appreciate your time. That's Howard Balzer, HBalzer721. Follow him. He's part of the Cardswire now on USA Today. He's one of the best. Been doing it for many years. We appreciate him joining us every Thursday here on Rock and Manuch with Jimmy B. He's brought to you by our Twin Peaks Fan Pick'em. The 4-team bracket contest is up right now. Just go to fanpick'em.com. You can win for a Twin Peaks $100 gift card, a man card. So just head to fanpick'em.com. We'll tell you what's on tap next, as well as the results of our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. It's Rock and Manuch, Jimmy B. for Twin Peaks Tempe.
Clear. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Ice Cube offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big Three.
This is with no disrespect to him. She is too big for the Big Three. And not only that, Chris, she's too big for the WNBA.
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Today at 4, tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Valley traffic from the Valley Toyota Dealers Traffic Center.
And eastbound near 7th Street, we have an accident. Also 10 eastbound near 48th Street, an accident being reported. Right lane is blocked by a crash. 17 northbound near 7th Street. And 17 southbound near Indian School Road, we have an accident.
This report is sponsored by your Valley Toyota dealers. Enjoy springtime in a new Toyota car, truck, or SUV. Be sure to check out the all-new 2024 Tacoma. It'll bring out the kid in you. Visit your Valley Toyota dealers or valleytoyotadealers.com.